Life has a way of surprising us. We spend our younger years giving, sacrificing, and pouring our hearts into those we love, especially our children. We dream that one day they will be our source of comfort, our companions in old age. But what happens when that expectation is met with rejection? When the very child you raise turns away from you? At first it feels like a wound too deep to heal, a betrayal, a heartbreak beyond words. But what if, instead of seeing it as a curse, we saw it as a blessing, a painful but necessary awakening? Today, I want to share with you a different perspective, one that may challenge how you feel about rejection. Because sometimes, the very thing that breaks us is what sets us free. Rejection as redirection. Rejection, especially from one's own child, can feel like a deep and unforgivable wound. It shakes the very foundation of what we believed life would be in old age, a time of warmth, companionship, and reciprocated love. When that vision is shattered, it is easy to fall into despair, questioning where things went wrong, what could have been done differently, and whether we are at fault. But what if rejection is not an end, but a redirection? What if, instead of being abandoned, we are being guided toward a new way of living? One that is not defined by the approval of others, even our own children. Life often takes unexpected turns, and in those moments of pain we have a choice. We can allow rejection to consume us, or we can embrace it as an opportunity to rediscover ourselves. When a child rejects a parent, it is not always about the parent's failures. Sometimes it is about the child's journey, their struggles, their decisions, or even their inability to process their own emotions. It is a path they have chosen, one that may not include us in the way we had hoped. And yet within this painful reality lies a profound truth. We are still here. Our life does not end with someone else's rejection. It shifts, it transforms, but it does not lose its value. If we can accept this, we may begin to see that this rejection has freed us from expectations we never had control over in the first place. It allows us to step away from the longing for what should have been and embrace what is. Many who have faced this painful experience have found unexpected strength in solitude. They have learned to live for themselves, to find joy in the small things, and to forge new relationships beyond the family bond they once clung to. Some have discovered passions they never had time for before: writing, painting, traveling, helping others. In their rejection, they found purpose. This is not to say that pain disappears overnight. It lingers, and the longing may always be there in some form. But when we shift our perspective, we see that rejection is not just an ending, it is an opening. It is life saying, "There is more for you." And if we dare to listen, we might just realize that the road we are now on was the one meant for us all along. Letting go of the past. Rejection, especially from one's own child, carries a unique kind of pain. It is not just about being left behind, it is the weight of shared history, the years of sacrifice, the love that once existed and now feels unacknowledged. The mind becomes a battlefield of questions. Where did I go wrong? Did I not give enough? Was I too strict, too lenient? These thoughts can haunt the soul, trapping us in an endless loop of regret and self-doubt. But here is a truth that can set us free. Holding on to the past does not change it. No amount of replaying memories, rewriting conversations in our minds, or wishing for a different outcome will undo what has already happened. The past is immovable, but our relationship with it is not. We have the power to decide whether it will imprison us or teach us. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean we stop loving our child or that we pretend the pain does not exist. It simply means we release the grip of expectation. We acknowledge that while we may have played a role in their lives, we do not control their choices, their emotions, or their journey. They are responsible for their own path, just as we are responsible for ours. When we refuse to let go, we suffer twice, once from the rejection itself, and again from our unwillingness to accept it. But when we embrace the present, we reclaim our peace. We begin to notice the beauty around us, the quiet mornings, the laughter of strangers, the warmth of the sun on our skin. We rediscover the simple joys that were once overshadowed by the longing for what was lost. Many who have faced rejection from their children have found that the most profound healing comes when they stop looking backward and start living forward. They find new friendships, new passions, and even new ways to give love to themselves and to others. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it is an act of strength. It is choosing peace over pain, acceptance over resistance, and wisdom over regret. It is a gift we give ourselves, the freedom to live fully, no matter who chooses to walk beside us. The power of solitude. There is a deep fear that comes with rejection, especially in old age, the fear of being alone. Society often tells us that happiness is found in companionship, that being surrounded by family is the ultimate measure of a life well lived. So when a child turns away, it can feel as though the very foundation of our existence has crumbled. The silence that follows can be overwhelming, even unbearable. But what if solitude is not a punishment, but an invitation, an opportunity to see life in a way we never have before? Throughout history, some of the greatest minds, the wisest souls, have spoken of the power of solitude. It is in solitude that we truly meet ourselves. We strip away the distractions, the expectations, and the roles we have played for others, and we come face to face with who we are beneath it all. This can be unsettling at first. When we are no longer the parent, the provider, or the caregiver, who are we? But within that question lies the key to transformation. The beauty of solitude is that it does not leave us empty. It clears space for something new. It gives us the time to reflect, to heal, and to reconnect with the things we may have lost while tending to the needs of others. It is in solitude that many people rediscover passions they had long abandoned. Writing, painting, gardening, learning, traveling, or even helping those in need. Solitude also teaches us an important truth. We are complete on our own. Love from others is beautiful, but it is not the only source of fulfillment. The ability to sit with oneself, to enjoy one's own company, to find peace in quiet moments. That is a strength few cultivate, yet it is one of the most powerful gifts life can offer. Many who have faced rejection have found that what they once feared, being alone, became their greatest source of freedom. They learned that happiness is not about who stays or who leaves. It is about how deeply we connect with ourselves and the world around us. So if you find yourself in solitude, do not fear it. Embrace it. Let it shape you, teach you, and show you that even in the absence of those you once held dear, you are still whole. Finding purpose beyond relationships. For much of our lives, we define ourselves through our relationships. Parent, spouse, sibling, friend. These roles give us a sense of identity and purpose. We wake up each day with responsibilities, with people to care for, with connections that anchor us. So when a child rejects us in old age, it can feel as though we have lost not just them, but a part of ourselves. But here's a powerful truth. Our purpose is not limited to the roles we play in others' lives. It extends far beyond family ties, beyond whether or not someone acknowledges our love. The rejection of a child, painful as it is, does not diminish our worth. It simply invites us to discover meaning in a new way. Many people who have faced this heartbreak find unexpected fulfillment in places they never thought to look. Some turn to creative pursuits, writing, painting, or music, using their experiences to express emotions that words cannot capture. Others find solace in helping those who need love the most: the orphaned, the elderly, the sick, the lonely. In giving to strangers, they rediscover the joy of unconditional kindness. Some find purpose in learning. They explore new ideas, study subjects they never had time for, travel to places they once only dreamed of. They transform pain into wisdom, and in doing so they become teachers, not necessarily in a classroom, but through the way they live their lives, showing others that healing and growth are possible at any age. The world is filled with stories of people who, after being rejected or forgotten, went on to create lives richer and more meaningful than before. They did not let loss define them. Instead, they used it as a turning point, a chance to explore the depths of who they were beyond the titles they once held. If you find yourself grieving the absence of a child who has turned away, remember this: your purpose is not over. You are still here, still breathing, still capable of love, learning, and creating something beautiful. Life has more for you than you ever imagined. You just have to be willing to look beyond the door that is closed and step into the one that is waiting to open. Love without expectation? Parental love is one of the purest forms of love, or at least that is what we believe. From the moment a child is born, a parent gives without question, nurtures without condition, and sacrifices without expecting anything in return. But deep down, whether we admit it or not, there is always a quiet hope that one day that love will be acknowledged, that it will come back to us in the form of respect, gratitude, and care in old age. So when a child rejects us, it feels unnatural, even unjust. How can someone we loved so deeply turn away? Did they forget all that was given? These questions haunt the heart, making rejection even more painful. But here lies an uncomfortable truth. True love, the kind that is truly selfless, does not demand repayment. It does not require acknowledgement to be real. A tree does not ask the bird to return after it has taken shelter in its branches. The sun does not withhold its warmth because someone refuses to look up. Love, in its purest form, is given freely, without expectation. This does not mean rejection does not hurt. It does. But when we shift our understanding of love, we also shift our suffering. Instead of asking, "Why didn't they return my love?" we ask, "Did I love because I wanted something in return? Or did I love because that is who I am?" If the answer is the latter, then no rejection can take away the love we have given. Many who have been abandoned by their children find that the love they once reserved for family does not have to go to waste. It can be shared in new ways, with a stranger in need, with a lost soul searching for kindness, or even with oneself. Love, when given freely, never runs out. It multiplies, it transforms. Rejection teaches us a hard but beautiful lesson. Love is not about possession. It is not about control. It is not even about being loved in return. It is about the act of giving, the ability to love despite loss, and the courage to keep loving, even when it seems like no one is watching. So, if a child has rejected you, know this: your love was never wasted. It was real, it was pure, and it is still a part of you. And that, in itself, is a blessing.